Christmas parties are coming to the happiest place on earth. And after we sort of mocked the fact that we don't have to pay for Christmas out here on the West Coast, well, looks like things are changing, huh? We also heard great news coming out of Walt Disney World this week that a certain musical is, in fact, going to make a return next year. And on top of that, we are talking all things Oogie Boogie Bash at California Adventure for the Halloween season. You don't want to miss a minute of it. It is September 18th, 2021, and Kingdom Report Live starts now.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
It's a beautiful Saturday in Southern California as we take a live look outside at the Disneyland Resort and the Anaheim Resort District. What a gorgeous September's day it is. And hello, my friends. Wait for the Kingdom Report, hanging out with you once again, coming to you from the Warner Brothers Studios Media District here in beautiful Burbank, California. We're just around the corner from the Walt Disney Studios and just up the road from the Disneyland Resort. If you have never joined this functioning event before that we call Kingdom Report Live, you are in luck because we have an awful lot in store for you. This is where we connect you to more of what makes you happy with some trusted theme park perspective, bringing you all the latest Disney parks news and discussion from coast to coast. And certainly today is no different. We also like to reward you for tuning in and being a part of this live broadcast. You can be rewarded and win yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug, all by leaving the phrase that pays in the comment section down below. This week, we have a phrase that pays that is attached to Finding Nemo. In fact, that is the phrase that pays. Finding Nemo is what you'll need to leave in our comment section underneath our video on YouTube. The Kingdom Report on YouTube is where you will need to leave that comment between now, Saturday the 18th, and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you leave Finding Nemo, the phrase that pays, in the comment section just beneath this video, you too can win yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug. We'll select somebody at random, reach out to you if you are the winner, so don't fret. You'll be reached out to, and we will ask you directly, how can we get in touch? And then we'll say, hey, you tell us, what color of a mug do you want? We'll get that mug on the way. Congratulations to all of our winners recently, to everybody across the country that has entered this contest. We also know that there are several people from other countries that have entered the contest as well, just haven't been selected yet. Keep trying. We do a random sort and then end up getting out to you as soon as we can when it comes to the big winner. So Finding Nemo in the comments section beneath this video on our YouTube channel at the Kingdom Report on YouTube. And by the way, if you're somebody that is tuning into this broadcast, whether it be live or after the fact, we do ask that you hit that thumbs up button no matter where you're watching. If you're watching on Facebook Live, if you're watching on YouTube live stream, hit that thumbs up button. Let everybody know that there is a party going on up in her, and you're invited. That thumbs up allows people to understand that there is indeed a party going on, and then more people can see that the party and the door to the party is open. Yes, indeed. Well, my friends, so much to get to in terms of Disney Parks news headlines, and we're not going to waste any time, but first I need to introduce you to a couple of folks that are here to discuss said stories, and that is our very own Totally Tyler Crouch and Katrina Manzone. Hey, gang.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
I like the little party button. It's like, whoop, I can just hear the music now in the party.
Just everybody dancing like this.
Very techno. Yeah, there you go.
It's a rave.
If you aren't dancing yet, oh, you will be. There's plenty to dance to, lots of great music in which to share, none of which you'll probably hear in this broadcast, but keep it pumping in your head. And as I like to say that, fist pump. Thank you very much. Yeah, right? Very
Just
2004
like
of me.
Jersey Shore or something.
Yeah, all right.
No,
Very
no,
good. Yeah,
done
yeah.
now.
No. We don't do that anymore. No, sir. Well, again, let's not waste any more time. I think we should dive straight on in to some Disneyland news. Disneyland news time. All of the latest headlines coming out of the West Coast Disneyland Resort theme parks. Everything you need to know about the West Coast theme parks. And today we are chatting with you a little bit about how Toontown and Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin are getting a bit altered in terms of backstory. Yeah, I can't believe it myself, but the Orange County Register has shared that Walt Disney Imagineering is rebooting another Disneyland attraction with a female lead character and revamped backstory to make it more relevant as the Anaheim theme park continues to update rides that have become culturally outdated. Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin at Disneyland is getting a new plot twist that shows that throws Jessica Rabbit into the lead role as a private eye determined to stamp out a Toontown crime wave. Some scenes in Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin featuring Jessica Rabbit are being updated to the more relevant and reflect a new twist in the character's story within the attraction, according to Disneyland officials. A scene featuring Jessica Rabbit and the Weasels with an automobile, as well as the finale scene of Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, are being updated, according to Disneyland officials. And they say that Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin is the latest Disneyland attraction to undergo a major renovation to remove outdated and problematic scenes, joining Pirates of the Caribbean, Splash Mountain, and the Jungle Cruise. Attractions are updated from time to time for a variety of reasons, according to Disneyland. And the updated Cartoon Spin storyline turns Jessica Rabbit into the newest private eye in Mickey's Toontown, on the lookout for Toon Patrol Weasels responsible for a sharp rise in crime. Quote, Jessica Rabbit was determined it is past time for her to throw her fedora in the ring by starting her own private investigation service, according to the new Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin backstory. Watch out, Weasels. Your reign of terror is over. Well, there we have it. It looks like Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin getting a bit tweaked. As a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, some people started to notice that the Jessica Rabbit caricature, that the figure itself of Jessica Rabbit within the ride had just been suddenly removed. And there was no talk about it. There was nothing official from Disney at that point. In fact, it almost seems that due to the uproar of what the heck's going on here, Disney came out and jumped in front of it and were like, oh, yeah, we're changing things. Oddly enough, they now have this full-fledged backstory and everything fleshed out as to what they're doing. So to me, it doesn't seem sudden. Clearly, they had planned it, but maybe they didn't plan for the fan community to jump on this as fast as they did. Tyler, I'm a little taken aback by the fact that this happened what feels like suddenly, and Disney didn't necessarily share in advance what was coming.
It's kind of strange because when we think about a lot of the rides at Disneyland, there are other ones that have kind of cultural problems that maybe need to be addressed. And to me, I never thought the first one that they should start really working on is Roger Rabbit, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin.
Yeah.
It seemed like a weird choice to me. And when we didn't know about this backstory and they had removed the first Jessica from the car, I was actually a little bit upset. Because I was like, if this is really what they're focusing on, I don't think this is it didn't seem good to me. Yeah, I know that maybe Jessica is a, more kind of sexual, stereotype, and also maybe having her in the back of a car was not what Disney really wanted to go for. I understand that. However, I thought it was kind of weird to take her out, but seeing that they're now saying that she is going to be the new main character of the ride actually really changes things for me. I think it's cool. I think making her a strong hero, which is what she was in the movie too. If you really think about it, she was really pulling the strings behind the scenes. Without her, Eddie Valiant would have gotten nowhere, honestly. But it's cool to see her more at the forefront of being the hero, and I'm glad that they're keeping Jessica around, because just erasing her from that would have been horrible.
Yeah, certainly. At first look, Katrina, we were all being exposed to the fact that she just went missing in some scenes and she just disappeared. And I know that routinely Disney does attraction updates and maintenance and stuff like that, where characters will suddenly disappear for a little while and then they come back. But now knowing that this whole storyline has been sort of upended, and this ride that we've known forever is suddenly going to be a very different thing altogether. How do you feel about it?
I'm mixed, man. She was always such a strong character, and that's what I loved about her. Even though, like, I mean, yeah, okay, like, her dress is, like, very tight, and then you can see everything, and she has, like, a high slit. Who cares? Like, she did a really great job. I mean, even in Cartoon Spin, she was in the back of a car, but then in the end, she, like, whacked them, like, the weasels with, like, this huge mallet in the end. She was just, like...
She got the better of them.
Yeah. Like,
even though in the beginning,
she was in the back of the car because she got caught, but then she defended herself and got the weasel, like, knocked him out, So she actually defended herself. It's not like she was a damsel in distress. Like, she took care of her own. And even in the movie, like Tyler said, she was pulling the strings. Like, she knew what she needed to do to get it done. And this is like, I don't know what Disney's doing here. Like, this is a waste of money, in my opinion. Like, at the moment, they need to focus more on, like what Tyler said, other rides that are, like, culturally insensitive that need to be changed, like Splash Mountain. I don't know why they're wasting their time and their money on this, because now what they're not saying is they're changing her whole outfit to not show her normal red dress. They're just covering her up, putting her in a hat, and covering her boobs. It's pretty much what they're doing, and that kind of makes me mad because they're just restructuring everything to make her sound like, oh my gosh, she was a damsel in distress before, but we're Disney and we're making her on the forefront. I was like, she was always on the forefront, but she was just wearing an inappropriate outfit, what people think is inappropriate.
Throw
and now
a coat
they're
on
covering
that.
her a trench coat and putting a hat on her and calling her a detective when she was kind of a detective and she did fight for herself and she was a strong female character. And that really makes me mad that Disney's now, like, wasting their money putting her in a trench coat.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not a woman. I don't know if anybody knew that, but it seems to me that in a certain way they are frightened of her sexuality, which is, I mean, I get it's like mostly a kids park. I get they want Toontown to be a new mecca now that Runaway Railway is coming and everything. That's going to be like more bigger part of the park, right? But I don't know if that was a huge issue. I
give her props for defending herself in a red dress and high heels and a high slit and knocking these weasels out.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's real talent.
With perfect hair and everything, I couldn't do it. I'd be a mess. So props for her.
Yeah, it does seem, like I said, very sudden, and to have been called on it by the fan community first, and then to come out and say, oh yeah, we had this whole plan to go this direction. It seems very odd to me that they wouldn't be in front of this, that they wouldn't be forthcoming about, hey, we have these really great changes that are coming, and try and sell it to us like they usually do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This is an attraction I didn't anticipate them going after at any point in the near future, and certainly didn't come across as one where it was like, oh, there are some glaring issues here. It's a cartoon, it's animated, it's meant to be silly and stupid, and Roger Rabbit has always been that very sort of outlandish character to begin with, and all the characters around him are made to be much the same.
I mean, it was weird. Before they said anything, it almost seemed like they were just like afraid of feminism, which is kind of a weird thing. But I'm glad they got out and finally said something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this was the first thing they should have been. I guess not the first thing, but this isn't. I wasn't worried about this ride right now. I mean, we have other rides that, like, I mean, come on, we still need to fix Peter Pan a little bit, maybe, and Tiki Room. Although I love Tiki Room, it's definitely has some bad stereotypes in it. So, I don't know. Those were things that I expected to be changed before Jessica Rabbit was just yanked out of a ride. So.
I remember being out at Walt Disney World, and Garrett Hassler, Walt Disney World reporter, and myself were at the Tiki Room. And this was in the middle of them working on the Jungle Cruise. And right after the Tiki Room, we went walking out, and I said, mark my words, they're coming for the Tiki Room at some point. Like, they're definitely going to be overhauling that, and you can anticipate that there are going to be some changes down the line. I think that one might be left for the very end of their remodel progress, just because it's something that I know is very much tethered to the Walt Disney era and is probably going to have a pretty big backlash and a pretty big level of heat added on to it because of how instrumental and intertwined it was with Walt Disney himself. So no doubt that is coming, and I'm sure that we can all confidently say we anticipate that coming down the pike.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. Well, Christmas time is coming to the Disneyland Resort, and my friends, in a really bizarre shift, Disneyland will be offering up Christmas parties for the first time ever. I say bizarre because this is something they've never done. Walt Disney World, for a number of years, always offering some sort of Christmas or holiday type of event out at the Magic Kingdom. Well, it's now occurring at the Disneyland Resort, and more specifically Disneyland Park. MSN.com reports that if you're a Disney addict, you are going to get something new in 2021. Disneyland Resort and California Adventure regularly get a bit gussied up around the holidays, but this year, however, it will host its first ever after-hours holiday party called Disney Merriest Nights. There will be just 5 nights of limited capacity partying available. Each night will feature 6 themed parties located around the park. It's going to be a photogenic and ticketed event with a special installment of a Christmas fantasy parade, 6 spots to take pictures with Disney characters, unlimited Disney PhotoPass digital downloads, themed menus and dance parties, not to mention more branded merch than you can shake a fast pass at. Rest in peace. You'll also, of course, see Mickey dressed like an extra in Oliver Twist. Tickets have already gone on sale, the morning of September 14th. Via the Disneyland website and the mobile app. It will run you $165 a head for anyone ages 3 and up. The parties will be taking place on November 11th, 16th, 30th, December 7th, and 9th. So that's November 11th, 16th, 30th, December 7th, and 9th. With how things like this generally go, those days will likely fill up in a hurry, they say. No doubt about it. We're already witnessing many of these days start to sell out, and quite a popular offering, I think, because it is the first time. Katrina, bringing a Christmas party to Disneyland has always been talked about within the Walt Disney Company, and specifically by the leadership team at the Disneyland Resort. Earlier this week, I did a Disney News Talk Live broadcast where I spoke about this with anybody tuning in. And by the way, if you ever see a Disney News Talk Live, we invite you to tune in and be a part of it. Leave some comments. It is all about your opinion, your perspective. But it was something where I was able to share that for many years, the Disneyland leadership team was sort of toying with the idea of doing a Christmas party at Disneyland. They just didn't quite know how to go about it, quite know how to do it. You being the ultimate Christmas fan, do you feel like something like this, especially it being the first of its kind at Disneyland, do you think that something like this is worth $165?
No. I love Christmas. And when I heard that there was going to be a Christmas party, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my year. I am so excited. But then when they started just saying what was available, I was like, wow, you're making it worse and worse for me to not want to buy the ticket. Like, I don't really care about picture opportunities. And do you know how long the lines are going to be to see Mickey Mouse as an extra in Oliver Twist?
Which is so random, I feel like.
I feel like what they should have done is they should have made Mickey's Christmas Carol characters dress up and walk around. Like, that would be really, really cool to see, like, Ebenezer Scrooge and stuff, like, walking around.
I want to see Goofy in the chains.
Yeah. Like,
that's right.
It's just, I think that would be even better, but whatever. But I know they've done, like, the special event nights. What were they called? Like the Star Wars night, and they did the 50s night.
Oh yeah, the specific themed party nights.
Yeah, the specific themed ones. And so we did those a couple times, and in the end, we're like, this isn't worth it. Like, they had some special, like, features and stuff. They had, like, a special fireworks show, but everything was about photo opportunities. And when they made these key words that you reiterated, it's all about photo pass. It's all about photos and special opportunities, and most of it's cardboard cutouts that you have to stand in line for, and then you'll see, like, a couple characters that you've never seen before, take pictures with them, but wait the whole night in the line just to take a picture with these people. And that's why they're giving you unlimited photo pass, is because it's all picture opportunities and food. That's pretty much what it is. And you can watch the parade any other time. It's not a special parade is what they're making it sound like. And so it's not worth it. It makes me sad because I love Christmas so much, and I was hoping there'd be like a special fireworks show, like one of a kind, like a one of a kind fireworks show. I would totally go.
Yeah, if
Some
there
kinda
was ever an
really neat-
opportunity
Yeah.
to completely come up with a new Christmas fireworks show, this was it.
This is it,
Right.
and they didn't do
Yeah.
it.
Well, make no mistake, this is clearly a test, and I think as time goes on, as the years continue, they're going to lock more and more behind a paywall. There's going to be more and more days. And I wouldn't even be surprised if this year they're like, "Wait, guess what, everybody? It was so popular, we're releasing more days."
Another
Yeah,
5
that's
days.
pretty much
And
what's gonna
that's I guarantee you, I would be shocked if they don't do that. But this is a test, and right now you can still do a lot of the Christmas stuff without buying a ticket to this. But I wouldn't be surprised if in 3-4 years or so, if you want to watch the Christmas stuff, it's going to be behind a paywall. I really wouldn't be surprised. But $165 is a lot of money, man.
That's hard to
That's
swallow.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could almost get a park hopper for all day for that price. So it's, I don't know. I mean, more power to you if you're going to the party. I'm excited to see what comes out of it, but for me, it's just not worth the money.
Maybe they'll give you a free sugar cookie.
Oh,
Ooh, $165
How
cookie.
exclusive menus. They said so. Yeah, I'm interested to see what ultimately gets offered up here because you're right, on the surface it doesn't seem like a whole lot. I mean, these dance parties and stuff like that, yeah, they're fun, don't get me wrong, but what's uniquely Christmas about that, and what's uniquely holiday season themed about these sorts of things. And I get it if you're spinning the Christmas music and stuff like that, cool, but it's certainly nothing that I think I would pay an additional day's worth of Disneyland visit for.
Also, isn't Galaxy's Edge closed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
A number of
And-
lands are
and-
closed on top of it. Yeah.
And Splash Mountain's closed.
So, I mean, even on top of this, when you think about it, a lot of those other like special events, every land was open, so you're able to ride rides and have short lines. And like, yeah, okay, like Haunted Mansion right now is really it's like a long queue because of Haunted Mansion holidays now there, and then Small World's going to be Christmas decorated. So those lines get huge. So this party would have been like, okay, maybe let's ride the rides a few times because the lines are going to be shorter. But then on top of it, it's just like most of the places are going to be closed.
Yeah.
So then it's just like, what's the point? Because isn't Big Thunder Mountain, they're refurbishing
They're
soon.
under
So
refurbishment,
so like that's like a big ticket ride that's going to be closed.
Is that still going
Or
to be
is it
closed?
still gonna be closed?
I
Or maybe
don't know if it's
it
that
might be
many.
like a month before.
months.
Maybe it'll be open by then. But still, what?
To keep so many of the lands offline during a party like this is just bizarre, especially when you have the hottest ticket in town being Rise of the Resistance, to not have that open for this type of an event
Like
when
Web
you're paying a
Slingers
premium.
was open for Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you keep your Rise of the Resistance open? Come on, gang.
Come
on.
Smugglers Run.
Jeez. But already starting to sell very, already
Don't get me
starting to
started.
sell out. And no doubt it's because these are brand new and the curiosity is the driving force behind people purchasing these tickets, no doubt. But we're very interested if you are somebody who has purchased a ticket going to the Disney Merriest Nights. Let us know in a comment section. Let us know if you plan on going to these, and if so, what you anticipate getting out of it. Because at least on the surface, this is kind of like how I think a lot of us felt when it came to the Walt Disney World not Halloween party. And it just seems like there isn't a whole lot being offered here outside of photo ops, and some DJs. It just seems very strange to be kicking up such a high price tag for something that isn't giving you necessarily a whole lot of Christmas bang for your buck. Best way I could put it. Moving along, the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa finally got its spa back. Yeah. The Orange County Register is reporting that Walt Disney Imagineering developed the concept of Disney's Tenaya Stone Spa and backstory at the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa to reflect the spirit of nature, California's indigenous cultures, and the hotel's arts and crafts architectural style. Quote, there was a really natural connection between the craftsman's storyline and honoring the spirit of nature and the indigenous thinking and intention around the way they really lived their life and that universal thinking of honoring the spirit of nature, Walt Disney Imagineering art director Katrina Manzone said during an online video interview. it was a natural partnership. The new Tenaya Stone Day Spa at Grand Californian Hotel and Spa opened this past Thursday, September 16th, with initial reservations limited to hotel guests staying at the Grand Californian, Disneyland Hotel, and Paradise Pier Hotel. The remodeled spa was designed by Walt Disney Imagineering and will be run for the first time by Disney. The former Mandara Spa, which was designed and operated by a third party, closed in July of 2019. So far, the images, so far, the things that we're seeing coming out of this spa, again, it's only for hotel guests at the moment, look beautiful, look stunning. I know that the Disney spas, typically at places like Walt Disney World, are not traditionally run by Disney. And as they mentioned there, this one was not run by Disney either, 2019 closing, and now it is being run by Disney. Katrina, have you ever been to a Disney spa at a Walt Disney World resort?
I have not. I know Tyler has once. Or he actually went to the one over at Grand Californian, but I've never done it. But I'm really glad that the spa's back because and it seems like a really cool concept. You know what I mean? Because there is like an actual stone in there that was donated by one of the Miwok elders, and so that was really neat to know that this actually came from like an actual Indian tribe, and it is in there for you to see. And then I think when you walk in, I know they described it as like you get one of the 4 stones, and that's how you choose your experience. So this is like there's a story, and I love Disney for this, like because they like love stories. And so when you walk in, you choose one of the 4 stones, and that's what guides you through your experience. And I think that was really neat to see, and that makes me want to like shell out $300 for a massage. I'm just like, okay, let's just do this. And it's really neat because there's just when you walk in, it just looks so serene and peaceful.
Yeah.
And like there's like a little waterfall like trickling in there, and then just like the gift shop even looks great. I'm just like, do I need a $200 robe? It looks great though.
Everyone
Perhaps.
does.
Yeah.
I do like Grand Californian robes. Maybe I will, but it just seems like a really great concept. I think that they really wanted to tie in the story to the hotel, because it's all about the crafts movement. And so I think that's what I really loved about it, because the Mandara Spa was, I think, just everything. It had like Asian Pacific, like the island Pacific, and then like Asian culture, and then they had like what other culture did they have in there? But everything was kind of like tied together, is what I remember it to be. So I'm glad that now they have like a storyline, and they're gonna focus on it.
Definitely, yeah. Storytelling, you're right. Nobody does it better than Disney. I think it's why we're all fans. And Tyler, nice to have the spa back in the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really call it a hotel and spa without a spa, right? But, I know it's going to be expensive, but I'm going to have to probably try something there because it just sounds...
Take one for the team.
Yeah, it just sounds really enticing. I don't know if I'm going to be taking videos of everybody in there, but I don't know if everybody would be excited about that. But
seems like it's commonplace nowadays. It's fine.
It's all good. Don't worry.
Please.
But I'm excited to check it out. It sounds like a dream. I'm stoked that they have it back. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, and I'm sure as soon as it opens up for the general public, right now it's only being offered for those hotel guests staying at the hotels of the Disneyland Resort. As soon as it's opened up for the general public, no doubt we'll see just how popular this new spa will be. Well, my friends, you let us know in the comments section of this video. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook Live, are you somebody that is pumped for the Disney Merriest Nights? Are you somebody that's looking forward to the Christmas parties coming to the Disneyland Park experience for the sake of the holiday season? We are very interested in knowing, number one, if you plan on going, and number two, if you've already purchased a ticket, what do you anticipate getting out of it? Because no doubt there isn't a whole lot being offered, but what excites you the most about purchasing a ticket for said event? We're looking forward to hearing your perspective. All right, you stick around. We got some Walt Disney World news coming up next.
Do you know everything the ghost host is going to say before he says it? Are you ready to thank the Venetians each time you board Spaceship Earth? Can you recite Walt's opening day dedication speech? Then join the Kingdom team today, the influential Legacy fan community featuring exclusive merchandise that will alert all who've come to this happy place that you are more than just another guest. You are a trusted theme park fan. Don't miss out. Join the Kingdom team right now by visiting the homepage at kingdomreportlive.com. That's kingdomreportlive.com. And now, back to the magic.
Walt Disney World news time, covering all the latest headlines coming out of the East Coast Disney World theme parks. And today we are chatting with you about some wonderful news coming out of Disney's Animal Kingdom, and that is that originally it was thought that the Finding Nemo the musical was going to be mothballed and completely done away with after the long closure that we've seen due to the pandemic, but that's not the case at all. In fact, Disney has come out and announced that we are going to see a reimagined Finding Nemo the Musical coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom in 2022. Our friend Mike over at blogmakey.com writes that Disney has just announced that a reimagined version of Finding Nemo the Musical will be coming to Animal Kingdom in 2022. Multiple performers said that they were told that the show was closing, but Disney will bring it back in some fashion next year. The official announcement reads as follows: Finding Nemo the Musical has been delighting our guests since 2007, and I'm excited to tell you a reimagined show based on the same beloved characters will debut in 2022. Although our Disney Live Entertainment team is still in the early stages of development for the show, the musical retelling of this underwater tale of family, friendship, and kindness will feature a new story material, as well as fan favorite songs such as In the Big Blue World and Go With the Flow. So this, my friends, happens to be one of those stories that delights me to no end because I'm a huge fan of Finding Nemo the Musical and Festival of the Lion King. We got Festival of the Lion King back in a modified form. The thought of losing Finding Nemo the Musical was pretty sad and pretty dark, to think that this wasn't going to come back at the Theater in the Wild over by Expedition Everest, but now knowing that it is being reworked to a certain capacity and will be brought back in 2022 makes me very happy, especially knowing the fact that Animal Kingdom has really so little to do. You know, it's a half-day park. There's not a whole lot going on at night. So adding the show elements, adding these things that you can go see that take up a big chunk of time are very helpful in sort of stacking your park day. But knowing that it's now coming back in 2022 excites me to no end. It's also something that I know our Florida reporter Garrett Hassel has never seen himself, which is blasphemy.
Dang.
Wow.
Disgusting. Can't believe
Makes
it.
me sick.
But he's, I'm sure thrilled now that he gets an opportunity to see it. I'll drag him there. He'll have to see it after all. But Tyler, really cool to hear that not only was this show saved, but that they are going to rework it to some degree. I wonder what changes are coming.
Well, I don't want to be negative, but I feel like that's the part that worries me the most because, besides, we've heard that a lot of cast members unfortunately have lost their positions as of this time. We don't know if if everybody's going to be coming back or anything. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But I worry that, they're going to retool this show to be, less epic, I guess, maybe more on the shorter side, especially because they only name like a couple songs. And so it makes me think they're going to cut some music and, maybe they'll try and do it like so that they can have more shows per day. Because it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was like a 45-minute show or something, like 50 minutes or so, wasn't it? I feel like it was.
I don't think
really
it lasted
long
45. I think we were around the 30-minute mark on that.
Oh,
one,
really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty long show, but I've only seen it a couple times.
Do you think they're gonna add screens?
I don't know. I could be completely wrong about this. I just know that, like, I guess what I'm feeling is that in these COVID times, they're trying to find a way to make their money back that they lost for those couple years there, right? So I just feel like this is an opportunity for them to try and kind of cut costs down, and make the show a little cheaper for them. But maybe they'll put on more if it's a shorter show. Maybe there will be just as many actors coming back, and they're just trying to retool things for the better. Maybe there were problems behind the scenes that we didn't know about that made it more difficult to produce. But either way, I'm excited it's not gone for good. You know, that's a really good thing. And I could be completely wrong. It could be like how Fantasmic was completely retooled in Disneyland, where, you know, that show is the same length as it always was, but they just made some changes to kind of update it, make it have more ties to, I guess, movies that are around that kids love today. So, yeah, maybe they'll do that, and maybe they'll add more from the sequels or something. Who knows? But I'm excited it's still there.
Yeah, maybe infuse a little bit from the other films of the franchise, perhaps. But yeah, if this is a plan to sort of neuter the overall show aspect of what's going on and try and trim it down and make it something less than what it was, you're going to have a heck of a blowback on your hands. You can't go doing stuff like that and assume that it's going to be acceptable. You know, I would much rather have a show than no show at all.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're going to give us something and then slowly start to rescind that, like other things that we're experiencing right now, you are slapping the faces of the people that pay you all this money to come experience something. And I understand that if, you know, these are being modified, these modifications are happening for the sake of trying to keep up with the pandemic times and trying to remain safe in a show and stage atmosphere. Okay. But then that means you eventually return that show to its former glory because you deserve that. But it's certainly a show that I've always gone out of my way to see anytime I'm at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. I guess I worry because they did successfully do that with Lion King. And I know that, like, eventually they do want to make it back to its former glory.
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't get as much blowback about Lion King as I expected. So hopefully I'm completely wrong. I want to be wrong.
But if I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that they got out in front of the Festival of the Lion King, or whatever they're calling it right now, saying, and they tried to get in front of it as much as possible to claim that show was going to be modified and brought back in a way that was safe for everybody, with the intention of returning it.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So it's a different thing. You're right.
Yeah, and we're not hearing that about this.
Right.
So you're right. You know, there's a balance here, and what the heck's going to happen. But yeah, maybe more Dory is going to be infused, Katrina.
They might do more of Finding Dory type story, or keep it in the Big Blue World and whatnot. Or they, you know, maybe they'll do like intertwining of both stories. Who knows what they're gonna do? I just hope it's not like a big turtle talk. Like I just can't.
I don't think it's gonna be
get
that.
over it. Like I'm in my mind, I'm like, how is Disney going to cheapen this show to save money if they're gonna do like screens and have some guy in the back with like a microphone and then some CGI type thing, the turtle running around on the
totally
back of the
dude
screen. And I'm just like, oh, please just don't do this to me.
Bringing out bikini tops and Buzz Lightyears.
Oh my god,
sexy.
Well, that's what he does. He's like, what is this bikini top for? He does, you know, Crush.
Yeah.
Crush.
One of the many scenes you can experience with Crush.
That goofball.
Yeah.
He's such a goofball.
Oh man, I just hope that they're gonna bring back all the characters and like better stuff. I mean, they did like not like a Frozen production, because like that production is amazing, but just bring it back into like make it better.
Make it better.
Don't go down
it
here,
better.
go up here.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if those. I'm curious too if those puppets were like expensive to maintain. You know, like, and they're just like, oh, we got to cut some of this out because
I'm saying,
this is costing too much
gonna be
money.
cut back.
This is all speculation. Hopefully, it's all back to normal.
Some big elements that are a part of that show. You're right. Probably a lot of financial upkeep, but that's what we pay for.
No, you're right. You're right. I guess I'm just like cynical right now because I know that's their goal, right? Their goal is to try and figure out how to maintain, you know, sort of what they've had in the past, but
open responsibly. You mean reopen responsibly? As I believe Bob Chapek has been quoted as saying.
It's funny because we were even talking about this on the way over. Like, yes, it's nice that all these, it's not just Disney, it's like all these different businesses. It's nice that they have to open responsibly. You're right about that. But then, like, at the same time, it's like a great excuse for these multi-billion-dollar companies to offer less and still charge the same amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just Disney. It's like a lot of different places. But it's a nice little excuse for them, and they don't get any backlash for it. So I'm just hoping that they're not riding that wave on to the Finding Nemo side of things.
We will see what happens. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having any sort of Nemo back in our lives, but at the same time, don't you cheapen this and then not bring back something to its former glory. We deserve better. Moving along here, something else that is returning to its former glory and something that we missed out on last year is the Candlelight Processional coming back to EPCOT. This is something that many people didn't anticipate happening this year because of how long of a wait there has been to announce anything going on Christmas side at Walt Disney World, especially when it comes to something like this. The Disney Parks blog announced that as part of our halfway to the holiday celebration earlier this year, we gave you a sneak peek of some of the magical experiences coming your way for a spectacular season of holiday joy during the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. That wasn't everything we have in store for you, though. And today, he says, I'm thrilled to share with you that the Candlelight Processional will be back this year, November 26th through December the 30th, as part of the EPCOT International Festival of the Holidays presented by Advent Health. Candlelight Processional is a long-standing Disney Parks tradition dating all the way back to 1958 at Disneyland Park. Walt Disney World guests have enjoyed the annual Candlelight Processional since 1971, initially at Magic Kingdom Park, and since 1994 at Epcot. After being greatly missed during last year's holiday season, this magnificent production will once again grace the America Gardens Theater with a live orchestra, cast choir, and celebrity narrator retelling the traditional Christmas story in spectacular and heartwarming fashion. Did not anticipate, especially this late in the season, getting the Candlelight Processional back, mainly because cast members typically are notified well in advance of this date even that auditions are happening, come in and do your various rehearsals and all leading up to the event itself. And so those messages were not going out to cast members as they typically have in prior years. And now all of a sudden, boom, they're racing to get it done. So I'm sure that they were holding off on this for the sake of health and safety and trying to determine how they can do it. But it's so cool to know that for the International Festival of Holidays, we will get back, I think, what truly is the cornerstone of the Epcot Christmas experience, Katrina.
Oh my gosh. I've never really partaken in this, but I've always loved walking by and just hearing it go on. And I always love Epcot during Christmas. I like the music playing, but then you walk by and that is you see these people so excited, lined up, ready to go for the Candlelight Processional. And then when you're walking by, you can just stand there and around America and just listen to it for free. But I still love it. The vocals are amazing. Just, seeing the celebrities that kind of come out and do it is always just super fun to see who's going to show up and talk about it. Sad as Disneyland's not coming back. I know Disneyland really loves theirs, but there's no room for that right now. There's not, I don't think. There's not. But it's always fun to see it at Epcot, though. I'm very excited that it's back. It's sad that they did it in such short notice, though, for people. Because I know, a lot of people, they wait their whole year and plan for it to make sure they go. And now everybody's like, wait, it's back? Yeah. And so now they have to quickly make, a last-minute trip, which I know Chapek wanted.
Well, and there's usually dining packages and everything attached to this. It's a major event for a lot of people's Epcot day, when they plan out their trips. So I know that you're right when you say people plan around it because it's part of their especially
it's a tradition.
Yeah,
for
those
them.
people that make it a Christmas tradition. You're absolutely right. I'm pumped to see that they're making this happen so quickly, but at the same time, I'm like, I hope you've got your celebrity narrators lined up.
John Stamos is going to be there.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably one of the reasons they were so hesitant on announcing anything. They were like, can we even make this happen?
Yeah.
Not even just because of the celebrities, but also just of the safety of the cast and everybody there. But I've only seen it at Disneyland. Like Katrina said, we walked by at Epcot, but when I saw it at Disneyland, it was pretty epic. And I got to see Thor read out of the book. And it was just a good time, and that is the amazing thing about it is it's really a spectacular, it really is, because there's just so many people that put their heart and soul into it with all the beautiful music being played. So I'm glad to see it coming back, at least over on the East Coast.
I'm telling you, West Coast side, Disneyland, if you were to offer the candlelight ceremony as part of the Disney Merriest Nights.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'd buy that
You
ticket.
know how much that ticket would be?
Yeah.
But I think that would be so cool.
An extra $300 charge just
Yeah.
to see that show.
Yeah, we got to pay for all these performers. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Yes. At any rate, really cool to hear that the Candlelight Processional at EPCOT is returning, and we will wait in bated breath to see if anything is going to happen at Disneyland. They typically don't acknowledge things up until very shortly prior to, it's usually the first week of December, and typically it's for the community more than anything. It's not really something that a lot of people get to take advantage of when it comes to, coming and buying tickets for, or, getting benches for. It's something that is traditionally just given back to the community, and it's an invited community event. And then if you want to see it, you can go hang out in Town Square for 12 hours and hold your spot in hopes that you'll get to get a glimpse of Thor reading from the Bible. But at any rate, it's wonderful to hear that this is coming back to EPCOT. In other news, we are hearing that Walt Disney World and Rise of the Resistance is now toying with the way that they are admitting guests onto the ride once again. Yeah, in fact, we are hearing that Disney World has announced the standby queue for Rise of the Resistance is in effect. It's time to join the resistance inside the Magic Rides. Walt Disney World Resort's beloved theme park, Hollywood Studios, is home to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and the guest favorite attraction, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Now, Disney has officially confirmed that the way guests experience this ride will be changing very soon, and starting September 23rd, Walt Disney World will be pausing the use of the virtual queue system for Rise of the Resistance, allowing guests to wait in a standby queue for the attraction. The implementation of a standby queue for this ride comes just before the start of the Walt Disney World Resort 50th anniversary celebrations. The most magical celebration begins on October the 1st, bringing even more guests to the Disney theme parks in Florida. The Disney Parks blog writes that as we ramp up to the world's most magical celebration honoring our 50th anniversary, we're continuing to enhance experiences thanks to the feedback from our guests. We know our guests love choice and flexibility when planning their time in a theme park, which is why, starting September 23rd, we will pause the use of virtual queue for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and guests at Hollywood Studios may experience this incredible attraction using a traditional standby queue for the first time since it opened in 2019. Virtual queues continue to be helpful, they say, with attraction access, merchandise launches, grand openings, and more, and guests should continue to check the My Disney Experience app for the latest on how we're using virtual queues across the Walt Disney World Resort, including its potential use at Star Wars Rise of the Resistance at a later date. So, they're finally opening up the standby after all this time, but there's a potential that virtual queue could come back. What do you think's going on, Tyler?
It's just a test. I mean, the whole entire thing is just like, hey, maybe we can run this now without the virtual queue. Because I will say, I think virtual queue was important in the beginning, especially when everybody was going to be heading straight over to Galaxy's Edge, and it was kind of a necessity for a little bit there. But I think now it is a good time to maybe check out if this is going to work or not with just a standard queue, because it worked for us, like Disney files, right? Like everybody who knew what they were doing, could usually get a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance. But I just helped my next door neighbor. They just went to Disneyland yesterday, and I was helping her like figure out this whole virtual queue thing, and they really were banking their trip on doing Rise of the Resistance. Like they really wanted, that was like the main thing they wanted to do. And walking her through the steps of like, okay, get on there right at 7 o'clock, look at a watch with a second hand, right when it turns 7, pull down, refresh. Then you have to click and make sure that all your tickets are selected, but don't read everything. Just press as fast as you can, because otherwise you're going to miss it. And so it was just, and like walking her through it, and then finding out, sadly, that she didn't get a boarding group at 7 a.m., but then luckily got one at 12. It was just like, for somebody who never goes to Disney, it is a crazy process. Yeah. It really is. And let's be frank, probably a lot of people are going to be vacationing.
I'll be Wade.
Okay. Okay.
You can be Frank.
All right. I'll be Frank.
Katrina.
There's probably going to be a lot of vacationers that are not, the biggest Disney fans coming for this 50th anniversary beginning. and this is going to be great for them. It really is. And yeah, maybe the line is going to be 5 hours long, or who knows what it's going to be, but at least they'll get a chance to go on it at that point. So I mean, if that's what they want to dedicate their whole day to, and okay, I'll be frank. What else are you going to do at Hollywood Studios?
That's Frank, everyone. That's Frank.
So you know, I think this is a good move. It's obviously a test, and they're not sure how it's going to go either, which is why they say it could, you know, virtual queue could come back. But time will tell, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, you know, and Katrina, I think that this is something where having this opportunity, as Tyler mentioned, or Frank had said to us, that having this opportunity finally, just the choice to begin with, means a lot to people, because I think there are plenty of people, and I saw them time and time again. Any trip I would take to Disney World, there was always a line of people at guest relations complaining that they didn't get into that virtual queue. They weren't able to, and they spent a fortune on their vacation. This is all they wanted to do. Why can't you just let me stand in line for it? This is what we want to commit our time to. Now they're finally going to have that opportunity. But do you anticipate that that line's going to be crazy long?
I'll be frank now. So this is going to be a madhouse. It's like going to be Flight of Passage in my mind times maybe 3 or 4. Like, I feel like in the morning, these people are going to wake up and they're going to want to make sure that they're going to run to Rise of the Resistance right as soon as park open happens. And that line is going to be super duper long. And now you're ruining your vacation waiting in line for 5 hours to ride a ride that could potentially break down, because that ride does get bombarded and does break down a lot. So now you're going to be stuck in a line for 5 hours, and you have a potential of having them to, you just have to wait until your turn is up and then it breaks down. And then what? And then your half of your day is gone. So you're going to be back at guest relations complaining again. Because let's all be frank for a second.
Frank's everywhere.
The reason why they're doing this, I know that they haven't been selling out of their boarding passes lately, because they've been kind of like in like a low point right now, because everybody's like gearing up for like October and stuff. And so they did away with the Rise of the Resistance. But now they want people to be dumped in a queue for 5 hours because they want to let in more people. So now they're just, all these people are just going to be waiting in this queue for 5 hours. And now, like, so not all the other rides are busy. And on top of it, they are taking away, in my mind, like a fast pass experience, because yes, I get it. Like, if you're not quick at the draw, you get your fast pass at 7 a.m., then yes, you will be sad. And I would be too if I didn't get it. And you would be at guest relations. But the majority of those people now are able to have, okay, my boarding group is 170. So I know I have all day to do whatever I want and then go back to Rise of the Resistance. Now you're going to be stuck in a line for 5 hours while you can be doing some other thing for those 5 hours, and then go back when your boarding group is called. And then go and enjoy the ride and wait in the line for maybe like 60 minutes or something. And then on top of it, they are getting rid of this to probably do the lightning pass. And so now they're dumping everybody in that line for 5 hours. And it's going to be even longer now, because they're going to do the lightning pass that you're going to have to pay for. And those people are going to cut you off and ride the ride as well while you're waiting in line. So it's going to be worse and worse and worse. I am so mad about this. Like, I just, when I read it, I was like, okay, great. So the lightning pass is going to be here. This used to be a free experience. Now you have to pay for this experience to like cut the line. Who knows where they're going to put you in the line? Like, or if they're going to, you know, if you have the lightning pass, are they just going to like lead you to the front, or are you going to have to like meet up with those people and then continue
Converge.
and then like merge together and then continue for like that 60-minute marker or whatever. Like, and when you go in the
there's no way
cave.
if they're charging you for the lightning lane, there's no way they're gonna make you wait for 60 minutes.
I mean,
I
whatever
can't
like the
imagine.
cave is, and then you go in and out, because unless you bypass
Well,
that
let's
whole
be
line,
frank.
Okay.
let's all be.
Maybe they will force you to wait in a crowd with
They
that lightning
will.
lane.
I know they will.
Maybe they will. It's all speculation, of
You
course,
really,
but
I
we'll
just
see.
can't
They
imagine,
will.
because if you're gonna be, let's like guess
be
what
frank.
let's guess what they're gonna charge for it, like $20 a person. Probably.
Was it
Like,
it's
for
15?
resistance?
Is it oh, you mean per attraction?
Per attraction.
So
Well-
it's $15 at Disney World and 20 at Disneyland.
Okay. So they're going to charge $15 a person to get into that lightning lane. Are you really going to pay that much money? Like,
well, I mean, if the line is
to
5
then wait
hours
for
long now
another
because
hour?
of it, like Flight of Passage is a pretty lengthy line, and it used to be even longer now, and then the Fast Pass used to be free, and then you would bypass that line, but you would still have to go through like a little queue, not a huge queue.
Yeah,
but
if you're paying for expedited services, you're right. I mean, there should not be any
There
sort
shouldn't
of
be.
merging. There should not be. Yeah. You should be. Brought
like
straight
where
to the
they
front.
brought us in during COVID, like when like COVID, they didn't have us go through that in like that
Indoor
cave,
queue.
the indoor queue. They just brought us to where you meet Ray.
Yeah,
I think that's what
spoiler
they're
alert.
gonna do.
that could very well be. Yeah, and
But
we'll
this
certainly
line's
see
gonna
what
be very
happens.
long.
It
That's
no doubt
pretty
will.
much what I know is gonna happen. It's just they just want a people sucker because they
people
don't have a show. They don't have Finding Nemo.
Operationally speaking, I think you might be onto something there. But you let us know in the comments what you think. Are you a fan of the standby option? You like that choice? Or do you believe wholeheartedly in the virtual queue system? And perhaps it saved you a lot of time. Always interested in hearing your perspective. Let's keep the fun going. It's time for the Disney List. Disney List time. We are talking about all kinds of things coming out of the West Coast Disneyland theme parks. Specifically today, it's all about California Adventure and the Oogie Boogie Bash. Halloween time at the Disneyland Resort. While our very own Tyler Crouch and Katrina Manzone recently went out to an Oogie Boogie Bash event and enjoyed themselves some Halloween time magic. Katrina, what tops your list when it comes to highlights from the Oogie Boogie Bash this year?
Okay,
I'm
you
prepared.
guys ready?
Hit me.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh. The special character interactions that the characters you normally really don't see together are together. And it was actually really cool to see, like, they had a lot of them in the Carthay Circle area and by the fountains. And so you got to see Hades and Meg together, which is
Ooh.
like spooky. And then you get like Cinderella and Lady Tremaine together. And you're like, ooh, girl, watch out. She's going to kill you. And then you get to see like Bullseye and stuff. Like when was the last time you saw Bullseye?
It's very rare.
Like
Yeah.
there's such rare characters that you never get to see. I think it's super great.
And like all the Robin Hood characters together too.
Oh my gosh,
like,
yeah. It's really cool. So you have to just keep like walking around in circles just to like make sure you see all these characters because a lot of them are like in Carthay Circle, but then they have like the Pixar stuff, in Pixar here. So anyway, so that was one. And then the parade was also really fun to see again because this is like the first parade back at Disney.
The
like
first
a
real
full,
parade,
like a
right?
full
Yeah.
parade. So that was really great. And on top of it, I don't know if it was just because of our, because we were in we went on the opening night. So I don't know if they had like a limited capacity for the first night and they upped it later. But the parade viewing, I thought was going to be horrible for the 7:30 parade. But we went into Oogie Boogie, got his candy, and then came out and we found a spot.
Got his candy.
Got his candy.
He didn't need it.
He didn't care. He has bugs. That's fine. But we were able to just like walk out and then just find a spot. There was so many spots left for parades. You really don't need to waste your time to sit there and wait for like the ideal spot. We were able to just like pop in and see it. And then the 10 o'clock show, there was like tons of space just to go see it. So it was great to see where you're not like pushing each other and you're like, shoulder to shoulder. I had enough space in between, like to have enough.
I do love
where I
that
don't feel
parade
worried.
route at California Adventure. It's nice and
Oh,
long.
it's
It is
so
good, yeah.
great. I love that parade.
And it was so dead. The parade was
Dead.
like so
Halloween.
empty that to the point where like I get what you're doing. I would be upset if I paid for one of those like dessert parties, to be honest, because
advice.
it's not needed. It really isn't.
There was 2 big areas for the dessert party, and it seemed cool in theory. Like when we talked about it before on the show, it seemed really neat. Like, oh my gosh, I really think we probably would have needed this for the parade if I've never seen the parade before, just to make sure I see it. And you get like candy and desserts and stuff. But yeah, it's not.
It's just not necessary.
It wasn't necessary because you waste like an hour. I don't know how long you would get the spot for, like an hour and a half or something, because you go in before the parade and then you sit down and eat and drink and stuff. But besides that, Great news though, they still give you tons of candy.
At least there's that.
We would go through trick or treat lines, and they would just towards the end, and they're just like big old handfuls. There you go. And they would just like push down my candy and then just put more on.
More.
And I'm like, I wish I brought a backpack.
That is good advice, though. You should bring a
You do,
like.
yeah.
They will fill up your backpack. So bring a backpack, bring an extra bag, because I feel like the little bags get smaller every year.
They sure
They
do.
do.
And
Yeah.
and if you really want to get your money's worth on that candy, then bring an extra
Chocolate
bag.
for days.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Awesome.
it for me.
Very cool.
Oh, my phone turned off, of course. So my first thing is she talked about the special characters that come out and kind of hang out in the park. One of my favorite things are the character interactions that actually happen within the treat trails. For those that don't know, they have face characters come out and talk on a microphone to the crowd as they're all going by. And I mean, this year they added a few new characters like Agatha from WandaVision and Sid from Toy Story and a new version of Cruella from the live action movie. And Cruella's area was amazing. I thought it was so cool. I loved how they just had that whole setup, and she was great. Maybe she needs to work on her English accent a little bit, but
Oh, well, that's...
I'm sorry. But anyway, no, she was great. She was truly awesome. But Sid was the biggest surprise to me too, because I was like, Sid, how are they going to do this? And the guy the Sid that we saw, he was great. I mean, and he's not afraid to like make fun of people. He was like saying kind of underhanded things to certain people, and like we saw at a certain point some people that were dressed as Woody and Buzz and Bo Peep, and they all came by and started giving him some crap, and he was just like giving the crap right back, and it was really funny.
That's how it's done.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got the braces and the baby face.
He slurped his spit as a brace person would wear.
Yep.
Like, it was great.
So that's kind of one of my favorite things. Like, that's even more fun than seeing the characters out and about to me, because they're like talking to everybody in line, and they have these great one-liners that they have, and they're being funny, and it was great. I loved that part of it. I mean, the other important thing to note is that actually the lines for the attractions were pretty short. They weren't that bad. I mean, I was about to do single rider for Incredicoaster, and I got in that line, and I was like, I think this line is longer than the actual line. So I just went out, got in the actual line. I was on that ride in like 3 minutes. We did Toy Story Mania really quickly.
15?
Yeah, I think that was like
or something?
I don't even think it was even.
I
It was short. It was much shorter than a normal day. That's for sure. And the lines, not just for the attractions, but also the treat trails. We didn't run into any huge lines for treat trails.
The only ones that were long were like Cruella, when actually Cruella was out there, Sid, and Agatha. Those are like the longest lines, but they moved quickly.
Yeah.
You know, but the other characters and stuff like Mad Hatter, like Maleficent and stuff, nobody in the line. You just like walk through, and then you have this like beautiful one-on-one time with the characters, which is unheard of, you know?
Yeah, how nice.
Yeah, the evil queen was like talking to. She was like,
It was spooky.
I was like all by myself. It was just me and Katrina, and I'm like looking up at her, and she's like saying evil things to me, and I'm like, oh well, I got some free candy, and then she like made some kind of quip about like, oh well, you're just gonna eat some random candy, huh? Like, and then I started worrying, like, oh, did she poison this candy? What is wrong with this? Anyway, it was really cool. Really enjoy all those characters. They all do a great job. And
I do like them giving out apple slices around her, though. I was like, is this
How
this
clever.
okay?
Yeah. And like the Mad Hatter was out there by Hyperion, and he was great. Anyway, it was a good time. And my final thing that I love about this event that you're not going to see any other time is the Villains Grove, which is a lot of these other places, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, they have their very spooky mazes, right? So Disney was like, well, we should probably have a maze at our event. And so you go through the whole Redwood Forest Trail, and it is really a spectacular thing to see. There's like fog machines everywhere. There's projections everywhere. And each part of the Redwood Creek Trail has a different villain represented. So you kind of walk up into this like flower forest with like sparkling lights everywhere, and it's a rose. Well, no, I guess it is a rose forest. Yes, you're right. Well, I was getting
Flower
confused.
forest
It's a
is
rose
fine,
forest,
that's it.
sure,
You covered yourself.
which is a type of flower. Just in case you were wondering. Anyway, and then the Red Queen is there, and they had this amazing scene where it looks like it's raining, and they've got like lasers and twinkly lights, and there's like lightning every now and then, and it's a really spectacular thing to see, and I would say do it earlier in the night probably, because as the time went on, the line got longer and longer, and so we ended up waiting longer than we probably needed to, but
because it opens at 7:30, like right at like that dusk moment, like when it's dark, because it's pointless to go any other earlier time. But I would say like get there if you don't want to watch the first parade. You go to Villains Grove.
I think that was that was the longest line of the night. Was
it was
the
like
Villains
a good
Grove.
45 minutes.
I feel like it wasn't as bad as that. Did you really?
I timed it. It was like a good 45 minutes because it was like we already watched the parade, so we walked over around like 9:50 and we got in line. And it was kind of like switched back, but that place is so great. And again, we have to like reiterate that a lot of people think Villains Grove is just a grove of face characters that are there, and it's just like a walkthrough kind of like treat trail. No, it's not. And so when a lot of people either love it or hate it, they love it because they think they're going to see characters, and then they walk out being like, well, this was stupid. There was no characters. It's all like lights and stuff. Yeah. But for me, I always I love this trail. Like it got me so emotional. You would go in and you follow Wisps from Brave, and then
how cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. And then you hear them like whisper to you, and then you go, and that's when you go through and you see, like Frollo's area, and then you smell like fire and smoke, and then you go to another area, and then you see the Red Queen, and it's like flowers turning from white to red, and you smell roses, and then
sensory overload.
Yeah, and then you just see like wisps, and the wisps form the Red Queen, and like it's really beautiful, and it's scary, but then in the end you reach like this happy beautiful moment, and you reach like the wisps like area, and then it's just this beautiful like twinkling lights, and things are growing, and everything's happy again, and then the way you just exit is just so emotional. If you've done it, you understand, like you just exit, and it's just like this beautiful like foggy mist, but then there's like a light in the end, so you just like walk towards the light, and then it's over, and then you're sad. But it's just like this beautiful emotional experience that you just walk through, and it's like spooky. Oh my gosh. And then like the Scar area is just, I have to say, it's like so legit. I love seeing the hyenas march. It's just, you got to do it. Even there's no characters, but you're going to love it. If you know there's no characters, you're going to love it.
Well, great tips and highlights there from the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disney California Adventure Park. If you're interested in seeing the parade itself, well, we got that up for you on the Kingdom Report YouTube channel, and certainly something to take a look at and enjoy. Again, a return to parades at the Disneyland Resort for the first time since the reopening of the happiest place on earth. So be sure to check it out. If you are heading to the Oogie Boogie Bash or you've been to one, let us know what you think in the comment section down below. All right, my friends, Kingdom Report Live wraps up next.
Looking for some digital magic to help you through your week? The Kingdom Report is here for you, covering the latest Disneyland and Disney World news, experiences, and events. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Kingdom Report Live so you never miss an update. And drop a subscribe on the Kingdom Report YouTube channel for new videos every week. Don't miss out. Join this growing community of theme park fans as we aim to connect you to more of what makes you happy. For more information, visit KingdomReportLive.com. And now, back to the magic.
Well, I know you can't believe it because I can't. That brings us to the end of the broadcast. Once again, all the fun that we've had, it goes by so quickly, but we want to make sure you're rewarded for sticking with us, and all you got to do to win yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug is leave the phrase that pays underneath this video on our YouTube channel. Finding Nemo is the phrase that pays this week. Finding Nemo, Finding Nemo, Finding Nemo is the phrase that pays. Leave it underneath this very video on our YouTube channel between now and 8 a.m. Pacific time on Monday after the show, and you might just win yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug. We'll select at random and reach out to you if you are the winner. Well, my friends, as always, it means so much that you could drop by on your weekend and spend some time with us. If there's anything that interests you or some things that you think we might be interested in, head on over to kingdomreportlive.com. Drop us a note there. You can hit on the submit a question button and send us a little something. But if you are interested in joining us next week, you are in luck, because we'll be right back here on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, for another edition of Kingdom Report Live. We'll see you next Saturday.